see.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Namaskrityam
Naran Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jayamudirayat
Tato Jayamudire
Nashtaprayasu Abhadresu
Nashtaprayesu
Abhadresu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati
Bhagavate
Uttama
Uttama
Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir
Bhakti
Bhavati
Naistiki.
Naistiki.
Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, titled The Most Confidential Knowledge, and verse number is 30. Api chet suduracharo
Api chetsu duracharo
bhajate mam ananya bhak
Bhajate
bhajate mam ananyabha
sadhureva samantavya
Sadhur eva
sadhureva samantavya
samyak vyavasito hisa.
samyak vyavasito hisa.
Api chet suduracharo
Api chetsu duracharo
bhajate mam ananya bhak
bhajate mam ananyabha
sadhureva samantavya
sadhureva samantavya
samyak vyavasito hisa.
Samyak
samyak
Vyavasito
vyavastito hisa.
Any Prabhujis or Matajis?
Api chet sudracharo
Api chet sudaracharo
bhajate mamanyanya bhag
Bhajate mam ananya bhak
sadhureva samantavyah
Sadhureva
Sadhureva
samantavyaha
samantavya
samyak vyavasito hi saha.
Samyak
samyak
Vyavasito
vyavasita hisa.
Hisaha
Api chetu durachara
Api
Api
chet
cheta suduracharo
bhajate mam ananya bhak
Bhajate
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 mam
mam
ananya
ananya
bhak
bhak
mamanyabha
sadhur eva shramantavyaha
Sadhureva
sadhureva
samantavyaha
samantavya
samyak vyavasita hisha.
Samyak
samyak
Vyavasito
vyavasita
Hisaha
hisa.
Api chetu, hold on 1 minute, Prabhu. Api chetu duracharo
Api
Api
chet
Api
chet
cheta
sudracharo
suduracharo
bhajate mam ananna bhak
Bhajate mam
bhajate
bhajate mam
ananya bhak
ananya
mamanyabha
bhak
sadhu eva show mantabbaho
Sadhur eva
sadhureva
samantavyaha
samantavya
sammak bhavashito hi saho
Samyak
samyak
Vyavasito
vyavasito hi
Hisaha
saha.
Api chet sudaracharo
Api chet suduracharo
Bhajate mam ananya bhak
bhajate mamanyabha
Sadhur eva samantavyaha
sadhureva
sadhureva
samantavyah
samantavya
Samyak Vyavasito Hisaha.
samyak
samyak
vyavasito
vyavasito
hi saha.
hisa. Thank you, everyone. Word by word meaning. Api, even.
Api even
Chet, if.
If
Sudurachara,
sudurachara
one committing the most abominable actions.
one committing the
one
most
committing the most abominable actions.
Bhajate is engaged in devotional service.
Bhajate
Bhajate is engaged in devotional service.
Mam unto me.
Mam unto me.
Unto me.
Ananya bhak, without deviation.
Ananya Bhag.
Without any
Sadhu is sent.
Sadhu
sadhu a son.
Eva, certainly.
Eva certainly.
Sa, he.
Sa he.
Mantavya is to be considered.
Mantavyaha
Mantavya is to be considered.
is to be
Samyak,
considered.
completely.
Samyak, completely.
Vyavasita, situated in determination.
Vyavasthita situated in determination.
He, certainly.
He
Certainly.
certainly.
Sa, he.
Sa he.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Even if one commits
Even if one
Even if one
commits
commits
the most abominable action,
the most
abominable action,
if he is engaged in devotional service,
if he is engaged in
devotional service,
engaged in devotional service,
he is to be considered saintly
he
is to be
is
considered saintly
saintly
because he is properly situated
because he is
Because
properly
because he is
situated
properly situated
in his determination.
in
in
his
his determination.
This is a very long purport. We will take turns to read this purport. Anybody would like to go first?
The
Now
word
words-
Sudurachara used in this verse is very significant and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for devotees in connection with the conditioned life, and such activities are called conditional. Besides these, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposite to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disturb his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in activity depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody would like to read this page?
Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically, but such a temporary fell down doesn't disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fell down from the ideal path. For as explained in the next verse, such occasional fell downs will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else would like to read this?
Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen. The words sadhur eva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly even if he has accidentally fallen down. And the word mantavya is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else?
In the Narasimha Purana, the following statement is given. Bhagavati cha harava ananya cheta prishamalino api virajate manushyaha nahi shasha kalusha chabhihi kadachit timira parabhavatam upaiti chandraha. The meaning is that even if he is fully engaged in devotional service of the Lord, even devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities. These activities should be considered to be like the spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable.
Anybody else would like to read this page?
On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that. Should I go, Prabhu, or anyone
Yes,
will?
Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yes, I can. No.
On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs. But when one is strong enough, he is no longer subject to such fall downs. As previously explained, no one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee.
Let's all chant together as this verse, such a powerful verse, is going to be discussed together with all of us. Let's all chant together. Ajnana timirandasya
Jnanadhirandasya
Ranjana
jnananjana
Shalakaya
Shalakaya
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं
Chakshurunmilitam
तस्मै
Shri Gurave
श्रीगुरवे
Gurave
Namaha
नमः
Namaha
Shri Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Manobhishtam
Manobhishtam
Sthapitam Yena
Sthapitam Yena
Bhutale
Bhutale
Rupa
Ayam Rupa
Kadamahyam
Kadamaiham
Dadam
Dadati Swapadantikam
Vandeham
Vandeham
Shri
Sri
Guru Shri
Guru Sri
Utapatakamalам Shri Guru
Utapatakamalam Sri Gurum
Vaishnavam
Vaishnavam
Shri
Sri
Rupa
Rupam Sagrajatam
Jatam Sahagana
Sahagana
Raguna
Raghunatanvitam
Pratambitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sapadutam Parijana
सावधूतं
Sahitam
परिजन
Krishna
सहितं
Devam
कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
Shri
श्री
Radha
राधा
Krishna
कृष्ण
Padan Sakana Lalita Shri
ललिता श्री
Vishakam
विशाखान्विताञ्च हे
Shri
कृष्ण
Krishna
करुणा
Karuna
सिन्धु
Sindhu Dinabandhu
दीनबन्धो
Jagatpate
जगत्पते
Gopesha
गोपेश गोपिका कान्त
Radha
राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त
Tapta
काञ्चन
Kanchana
गौराङ्गी
Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
Vanusute
श्रीमतीमानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि
Pranamami
हरि
Hari Vanchakalpataruvir Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo
पतितनां पावनेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo.
namo namah.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Chaitanya
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Sri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Sri Gaura
Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare.
Hare.
So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha of Bhakti Vriksha, where we discussed this verse. So this is a verse where Krishna is giving some confidential um, aspects about Krishna consciousness. This is a very powerful verse, and this is a very misunderstood verse. So, as you can see, Krishna is saying, even if you are performing devotional service, but for some reason you cannot pursue that, you fall victim to the illusory energy of the Lord, which is called Maya, then, but you are a saintly person, you have done devotional service, and you have fallen down, and in the meantime you have realized it, and you have come up, and you're doing devotional service again. So Krishna is saying, I'm giving you that insurance. So this verse is an insurance from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When you have insurance, you go out fearlessly, but for some reason you make a mistake on the road, you meet with an accident. The insurance is going to help you, and then the insurance is supposed to make you a good driver, because when you end up paying, you realize that you should not be making mistakes, and you come up. But when you are taking insurance, you should not be misusing insurance in the form of committing accidents again and again and again. You should realize that Krishna is very merciful. Lord Jagannath is very merciful. Lord Krishna is magnificent, Shyam Sundar. Jagannath is very merciful, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very munificent. So we should think that Krishna is very merciful, and in this verse, Krishna is giving us that insurance, that with that insurance, we can understand him. And just because a person has fallen down, he has kept so much of thing in his life, so much of pious credits, that a little fall down doesn't make him start from zero. Generally, when you see, you change a company, sometimes when you join a company, they do not take any of your prior experience into account. Whether there are certain company, they take your some experience into account. But here Krishna is saying, if you have done devotional service and you are say 75% experienced, you fall down. Next time you have to start from 76. You do not have to start from 50 or 25 or 0. Krishna is very, very merciful. He is giving us that insurance here. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly. That's the reason why, as a non-devotee, when we start finding faults in others, we realize that they have fallen down. It should not be used as a technique to defy or defame a devotee. Krishna is giving a very clear insurance to us, and we just have to take the insurance and pay the premium properly and not commit mistakes. But if at all you commit a mistake, and here he goes on to say, abominable action, that sudurachara, if a person becomes durachara, if a person is born to a Rakshasa family like Prahlad Maharaj, but if he ends up doing devotional service, he is very much part and parcel of the Krishna consciousness activity. So Krishna is giving a insurance. When you think about insurance, Bhagavad Gita has all the tenets of life. Insurance happens to be one such thing. And 9.30 happens to be that verse where Krishna confidentially giving so many powerful tenets in this verse. It should not be misused, but at the same time, it should be used in the right context. So Lord is in the heart of a pure devotee. Well, the devotee makes a mistake. Lord is not as if he is totally displeased. Lord is nurturing the devotee, staying in the heart as soul and super soul. So, so the constitutional position of the Lord is in the heart of every devotee. But sometimes we have conditional situations. We have challenges in our life, maybe because of us or maybe because of external conditions. You are subjected to associations in your family or in your job, whereas you have a tendency, you have a conditional tendency to fall down. But the constitutional position, the Lord is in the heart of the devotee. So because of the condition, if there is a stray away, because if there is accident ahead, you take a bylane, you take a exit to join the road ahead, it's fine. As long as you know that joining the interstate gets you faster, that is enough. So Krishna goes on to talk about incidental and deliberate. Like say, for example, you're having lunch, you're having, a four-course meal in a restaurant. But for some reason, today you crave for a final lassi at the end. You buy that, you have that add-on as an incidental expense of lassi. Sweet lassi, no problem, once in a while, not an issue. But if you deliberately end up taking sweet things all the time, all the time, all the time, you'll get diabetes. That's the difference. Krishna is saying, once in a while, you fall down not as a regular thing, incidentally, fine. But if you deliberately end up consuming things which are not right for you in the form of health or right in the form of you spiritually speaking in your Krishna conscious life, deliberately again and again and again, not being regulated in your eating lifestyle all the time, not being having the right association all the time, deliberately, that is not right. But incidentally, Krishna is giving that insurance. Once in a while, unknowingly fall down, no problem. He is going to help us. So devotee may fall down temporarily, but Krishna consciousness is so far powerful, and Krishna being in the heart of the devotee, he won't let you fall down. Because that's the reason why falling down is one thing, and Krishna not letting you fall down is another thing. So Krishna consciousness is too powerful in that sense. So when you think about reflection of light, you have a light, and then with the right angle, like if there is a 30-degree light, the reflection is 30-degree. But to understand Krishna consciousness, you can't understand in a Boolean way, like 0 or 1. You think about a light in the corner of an edge, light bends. The nature is such that there is natural phenomena where there is bending of light. And that's the reason why in refraction, you'll see, in addition to the line of light which you are seeing, in the corner, you can see something which is lighted. Like say, for example, a cave is in darkness for 20 years. You go to Lure Caverns or some other place which is so pitch dark. But a slight light on the dark cave lightens it immediately. It doesn't take 20 years to light it up. Once upon a time, 20 years, because of the cave formation, it became dark and dark and dark. But when the light strikes, it immediately lights up the cave. It doesn't take 20 years to lighten up. Likewise, if you see the moon, as Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, you are not truly focusing on the dark spots of the moon. The moon has the light around it, the white light which it emanates. But that white light is enough to lighten up the evening. That small dark spots is not good enough. So sometimes the goodness is so strong, the negativities of the life, the retardation in your lifestyle is not enough to really. Sometimes the goodness is so strong, it will wipe out everything else. And the Krishna consciousness is such a lighted thing that however difficult you try, however hard you try, the bad aspect of retarding you from Krishna consciousness is not going to happen. If a person is destined to do well in his IIT exam or some other exam, however hard you try, you cannot slow him down, because there are some very tough questions. He knows the trick and he'll get it right and he'll score heavily. So in IIT exams, as you know, not sometimes, even if you score 50%, you may end up getting a good rank, because there are certain traits of trick questions if you answer it right. So that's why they say when the IIT exams or some other exams happen, the competition is not among the millions who give the exam. The competition for the 200 slot is actually within the 1,000 people, and everything else beyond the 1,000 is useless. Likewise, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that little aberrations like the dark spot in the moon or the bending of the light around and the darkness around us is not going to slow us down, because Krishna consciousness is so pious, beautiful, so enlightening, that Krishna is saying, even if you have some imperfections, who doesn't have? To err is human. We all have imperfections, but Krishna consciousness is so powerful that it can sharpen all of us in no time. We all know where we were 5 years, 10 years, 15 years before. And now you see, you really do not want to go back to that life which you spent 15, 20, 30 years ago. So Krishna consciousness is too good, and a tinge of light clears the dark patch, which is there since the ages, as we just gave the example of a cave. So the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, the Bhagavad Gyan, is so enlightening that this small aberrations is going to go away naturally in your life. More you talk to Krishna consciousness, more you hear Krishna consciousness, more you mix with people who are Krishna conscious, all the tinge of darkness and imperfections are going to go away. And as Adi Sankaracharya is mentioning, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Varanam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Sayanam. That means we are born again and again and again and again, and we are into the mother's womb again and again and again. But once you get the association of a pure devotee, and then you start taking to Krishna consciousness seriously, this cycle of birth and death, which Shankaracharya is mentioning, is not going to happen. We are going to escape from this cycle again and again, and that is really going to help us in the long run, and we relieve the Krishna consciousness. So that's why they say, while the person is sleeping, if you chant Supreme Personality of Godhead, sit near you. And if you're sitting and chanting Supreme Personality Godhead, stand near you. And if you're standing Supreme Personality and you're chanting Supreme Personality of Godhead, dance near you. And while dancing, if you're chanting Supreme Personality, stay on the head of the devotee and directs the action of his devotees. That means the Krishna consciousness is so enchanting and attractive that Lord comes a step forward. Whenever you might have end up doing some activity for the Supreme Lord, whether it is Govindas or Rath Yatra or Janmashtami, you do little things, you'll realize there is somebody else who is taking 10 steps in addition to your steps and really making it really emphatic. So the essence of the verse is, even if you end up falling down, Krishna is going to lift you up. He's just going to give you that hand, the helping hand, by which you're really going to sort of come out of the disaster, and it is going to be so the faith aspect, the insurance aspect, what Krishna is giving us has to be taken in the right context, that Krishna is giving us insurance. So we have to get into the policy of Krishna's insurance, and then we should recognize that Krishna, as he's in our hearts, is going to help us all the time in trying to solve our problems. And sometimes if we have challenges in our life, if sometimes we end up falling down, we should not have devotees pointing fingers at us, because Krishna in this verse is saying, if you have done devotional service, this is incidental, and he's going to take care of you in due course. So Krishna consciousness is so powerful when you have these four things. I want to show you, just wanted to have a case study today, because we can go on and on with theory. But tell me, from these four pictures, from the four pictures, if what is that common thing which comes out of these four pictures? If you can look at these four pictures, in the right hand side, then you have the right lower side, left lower side, and the left top. In these four pictures, what is that which stands out in this picture, which is so common in this picture, which is very much tuned to this verse? You may say something, you may unmute and say, can you, if you have not been through this case study before, can you say if something strikes that what is that one thing in this picture which really stands out? That's like a case study for all of us in this Bhakti Vriksha. So it's like an exercise to kind of exercise our brain. So can anybody tell? We have a very wonderful group of members.
Krishna's energy, Prabhuji. I see Krishna's energy in form, like in the water, in the prasadam, in the chant, and in the natural. Krishna's both material and spiritual energy, but in total, it's Krishna's energy. That's how I'm seeing Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody else would like to answer? Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the above left, that is the Maha Mantra. So chanting this, kind of means we can serve the Supreme Lord. And I think the bottom one is Nidhi one, I think. So this is also probably the devotion to Lord, because gopis bhav, you can say. And the right one top is Haridwar, again offering to Krishna, so surrendering at his lotus feet, and accepting prasadam. So Jagannath Mahaprabhu Mahaprasad. So this is also one way of liberating ourselves.
Anybody else would like to weigh in on this question? So what is that thing here which stands out and which is so common in these four pictures, which is so significant with the verse? Anybody else would like to answer? We have Bhakti Ratnaka Prabhu, Pratap Prabhu, who have opined. Anybody else would like to say something? This is something
Another
yes,
thing, Prabhu, with devotion, if you offer a leaf or water or anything to Krishna, so that is also Krishna accepts it, kind of thing.
Okay.
But this looks like a complicated question.
Yeah, actually, to tell you
Nice
the truth,
one, actually.
I'm sorry if I haven't really heard the answer. I was looking for, actually, because I framed the question, so I know the answer. But anybody else would like to try? This is good. This is good discussion. I'm glad that Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu and Pratap Prabhu opined. But there is something else which is in this picture, which is so common in this picture.
Another point related to this verse, Prabhuji, the material things may have any, they are not like, we cannot offer, but Lord accepts them even if they have some material inabilities, right? Means the way we don't cook with the highest standards. I know in Jagannath Puri and Krishna consciousness, we could, but in general, I'm talking, it may not be very pure, but still Krishna accepts it, Prabhuji. Even if we chant without a pure heart, still Krishna reciprocates.
Right. Yeah, okay, Prabhu. Anybody else? Go ahead, Prabhu.
Is it, no, I mean, I'm far away, I think. So it looks like, after the death, that Arpan has been done. So this is one thing. and the prasadam also somewhere it is related, but I'm not so clear to it.
Okay, okay, okay. Thanks for trying, Prabhu. This is all we want. I mean, we just have to discuss. Anybody else? Prajapati Prabhu, Niranjan Prabhu, Tralokya Prabhu, and Asis Karuna Jagannath Das Prabhu. You want to opine? What is that common theme which is there in these four pictures?
Hare Krishna, Babaji, Dandavat Pranam. So I can say like, so the first one is the Maha Mantra, right? So there is no difference between the, the Krishna and the Krishna's name, okay, right? So both are identical, right? And the second one is Mahaprasadam, which is again, the Krishna itself, right? So there is nothing, no difference between it. So I can see like in the water also, I can see, like in 10th, in Bhagavad Gita in 10th verse, I think he says that I'm the taste of the water, right? So again, the water again represents the Krishna, right? Whenever you see water, then he is himself, okay? So I think like everywhere actually I see here Krishna itself, okay? So there is no difference between, so again, the material nature also I can see the Krishna's external energy, right? So again, represents the Krishna itself.
Okay, right. Anybody else would like to try? Prajapati Prabhu, you want to say something?
Sorry, Prabhuji.
No problem.
In all these cases, Krishna consciousness is the main thing. Whether it is the mantra or whether it is Nidhivan, whether we are offering water to God or we take prasadam, Jagannath prasadam.
Okay, okay. Tralokya Prabhu or Asis Karuna Prabhu, anybody, you want to just say what is that common thing in this picture, which is binding this picture? There's a common thing which is coming out of this picture. Okay.
I mean, in all the picture, I see like, we first pray to, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, like Lord Krishna, and then we are doing like, we are accepting his Mahaprasadam, then we are praying and all those things. I mean, everywhere I see that thing is common, but I am not exactly.
No problem. Assess Karuna Prabhu, sorry to put everyone in a spot. I'm kind of sorry about that. Assess Karuna Prabhu, you want to say something? Okay, I think we are ready to discuss about this word.
One point, Prabhuji, Bhumo Nalar Vayu is, I don't know, means Krishna's energies in all these earth. I think that also is depicted here, Prabhuji, the pot, the energy, the water, the earth.
Yeah, and Prabhu, this is Ganga water. This is Jagannath Prasad. This is the soil of Vrindavan, where Krishna and Balram played with gopis, and this is the Mahamantra. This is Ganga Jal. This is Jagannath Prasad. This is the soil of Vrindavan, and this is the Harina Mahamantra.
So these are the ones which never get, these are the four things, they never get contaminated.
Awesome. That's the answer. So you do not have the potency, you do not have the power to contaminate any of these. So the Ganga Jal will be going in on the top of a corpse, and there'll be a dead body, and Ganga Jal will be going 10 meters down the line. Somebody will be taking the Ganga Jal, which has gone over a corpse, to use it in puja. And from the plate where Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu is eating, I will be eating. Then Bhakti Ratnakar will say, Prabhuji, don't eat, I have done jhuta. Then the Puri Panda will tell, how dare you say that? You do not have the prowess to jhuta Jagannath Prasad. From the same place, anybody can eat, a dog can eat, and still the prasad is not jhuta. It's so powerful, you cannot contaminate it. Likewise, you go to the soil of Vrindavan, where Krishna Balram has played. If you go to certain places, I can tell you in Vrindavan, I have gone there, that soil is more fine than Nicel powder. It's so pure, as if the boys have played, and you can just roll around. You cannot contaminate the soil of Vrindavan. And even if Hare Krishna Mahamantra you're uttering on a bed or near a tulsi plant or anywhere, or if it's written in a cloth and you just wrap it around, it has the value. You do not have the power to contaminate. You do not have enough power to contaminate. So Krishna is so powerful that he is giving us that insurance in this verse, that he has so many things within him. The Gangajal, which comes from him indirectly, the Jagannath Prasad, which is Krishna himself, the soil of Vrindavan, and the Mahamantra are so powerful so if somebody asks you, what are the 4 things in this world which nobody can contaminate, spiritually speaking? And the answer is, these are the 4 things: Gangajal, Jagannath Prasad, the soil of Vrindavan, Vrindavan ki mitti, and also the Mahamantra, which is so Krishna consciousness is so powerful that we are too powerless have to have the ability to contaminate them. Because Krishna consciousness, wherever Ganga goes, the factories of different places, this, that, and all, but still it's pure. It stays pure. It has been pure, and it will always be pure. Jagannath Prasad, same thing. The mitti of Vrindavan and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So no one can contaminate this 4 thing, which is the common thing across this. So Krishna is saying, I'm so powerful that by you doing a 1 or 2 mistakes, I can take care of you. I have the insurance for you. The confidential knowledge nowhere seen. So that Krishna in every verse has put a little trick, and we can only understand that trick if we are a devotee. By having our mechanical engineering, computer engineering mindset, we cannot understand, or a doctor mindset, we cannot understand Krishna consciousness. To understand Krishna consciousness, we have to think like what Krishna is expecting, and that you can only do by being a devotee. I think that's all I wanted to cover today. This verse, very, very powerful, a verse which where Krishna gives the insurance for you. Don't worry, even if you fall down, he's going to take care. But at the end of the day, we do not have any right to tell anybody. There are many austere Prabhupada disciples who have fallen down. Even at this stage, if you think about the kind of things they have done in various different places, whether it is New Vrindavan or Vrindavan, in their early days, they may have done little, but the kind of things they have left behind is too good. That's the reason why we should never criticize any devotee, because Krishna, right in this verse, is giving us. So every verse in Bhagavad Gita is a lesson for all of us, and it changes our paradigm of thinking, and that's how we learn every day. So with that, I'd like to end here. Any question, comments, reflection, realizations, please share. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Him Jagannath Prabhu ki jai. Prabhuji, nothing. Just one point which strike my mind when we were explaining this is that, Prabhuji, that Krishna is indirectly asking us not to do Vaishnava aparad by criticizing, because they have served Krishna at one point of time and have been serving, because the shloka clearly says that who is situated in Krishna consciousness. That means they have been doing now. For some reason, there was a deviation, so which you have asked us to overlook in the verse through Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's message. So it finally translates to Vaishnava Aparad Prabhuji. So which is the most, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that is the one thing which we should avoid always, Vaishnava Aparad. That is one point, Prabhuji. 2, I just wanted to give a, being of a science background, I like to correlate with what we have learned in science, what Krishna is telling. So I don't know how many we have done the hardness test of materials, Prabhuji. We always do the hardness test of the materials. So if the material is a hollow from inside, Prabhuji, if we try to do the hardness test, it breaks. But if the material is solid, homogeneous, we do a hardness test. There might be little scratches here and there, but it does not break. So what I want to derive from that is, Prabhuji, that in the same this verse, he's telling that if you're situated in Krishna conscious means you have to be solid in your sadhana. If you're solid in your sadhana, so slight deviations here and there do not affect you. And as you have said, they're cumulative. They will be carried over to your next life, Prabhuji. So point is that we have to be solid, which is we have to be still situated. We may fall down. That means like how we do the hardness test. We may try to do destructive testing on the materials, right? To know the property. So similarly, Krishna does through his Maya. He tries to do destructive testing for us. That is, he tries to test us by giving us deviations. But if we like in the hardness test, there will be scratches, but it doesn't break the whole. If we are hard enough, if the material is hard enough, it doesn't break. Probably if the material is not resilient to the destructive testing, then naturally it will break. That means we have our Krishna consciousness is not rock solid. Sadhana, we may do all that needs to be done, but it has not cleansed our heart, Prabhuji. That these are the 2 points which I just wanted to enumerate.
Yes, Prabhuji. First thing Prabhuji mentioned about Vaishnava Achar, Sadachar. Krishna is very dear to his devotees. If devotees are defied and dejected, you have Sudama, you have Surdas, you have so many, you have Srila Prabhupada. Whenever they are dejected, Krishna comes to their rescue, and Krishna doesn't like the devotees to be criticized. So on that, there is a Vaishnava Sadachar course which is coming up, which they are organizing with very highly talented teachers from Mumbai, I'm hearing. So just sign up for that course. I think you may have seen that request. It's probably $30 for 4 sessions, but that course can really sharpen the aspect of how not to criticize others, how not to criticize your wife, how not to criticize your kids, how not to criticize your family, and how to live a cohesive life. That course may be a Vaishnava Sadachar course, but will help you in your family life. So please sign up. Prabhuji talked about it in the first point, he said. The second thing is about homogeneity. If you are solid, if you're solid in driving, you really do not need insurance, because you'll always do the right thing. Even if at the last minute somebody shakes you up, you have a way to really maneuver around. So a wonderful example about the homogeneity. If you're balanced, but if you're hollow inside, whenever there is a slight attraction here and there, you will get carried away. So just want to thank Prabhuji. Very nice points. So sign up for the Sadachar course and try to solidify yourself internally, so that even if there is a chance to go to Ganga and take bath near a corpse, you are not defied by it, because Ganga is pure. It was pure, is pure, and will be pure. And so is Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, our faith in Krishna consciousness, and our faith in Vrindavan Dham, where Krishna and Balram played with the gopis. So beautiful pastime, Krishna, and that really solidifies our faith in Krishna consciousness when you think about those 4 pictures, which is trying to link up with Prabhuji's thought about how to be strong internally. If you're homogeneously strong, nothing is going to shatter you, nothing is going to defy you. Very nice points, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Any other comments?
Prabhuji, the way you mentioned, I think also one thing has been mentioned, the purport while you were explaining. So accidental mistake is okay, but repeated mistake is never forgivable.
That's true.
I
Absolutely.
wanted to do that point also, I forgot. Yeah, same thing. Thanks, Pradeep Prabhu. Like there is always a on the medicines when for the extra dosage or on cigarette packets, there is a statutory warning or a disclaimer, right? So similarly, this is a fine print which Prabhupada has highlighted, which we wouldn't have otherwise. That don't take this this what I call this as Krishna has provided some tolerance in the behavior, right? He has given tolerance limits, like how we give tolerance limits in our errors, right? He has given some tolerance on the errors, but we should not exceed the tolerance. That means we should not start misusing it. Thanks, Pratap Prabhu, for I wanted to explain that I forgot. Yeah, mention that, not explain. Sorry.
Very nice, Pratap Prabhu. Very nice points. Um, uh, and actually, when the error becomes a habit, the person is very difficult to be reconciled. But the thing which we learn from this verse is uh, accidentally, it's fine, exactly like how insurance helps us. But if you keep on doing the accident, is going to put you in a bad driver list and is not going to extend your insurance after 3-4 years. Spiritual area is similar. Krishna will give you have so many examples where Krishna has tolerated Duryodhan, but time has come, Duryodhan has to pay the price. Thank you so much for chiming in, Prabhu. We should not repeat our mistakes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat to everyone. Himo Jagannath Prabhu, forgive me. I was actually worshipping that time, giving some bhoga to Lord. That time I not able to answer
okay.
your question. Listening, I was listening.
No
Sorry,
problem. No problem. Thank you so much, Sis Karuna Jagannath Prabhu. Trilok Prabhu, Prajapati Prabhu, Niranjan Prabhu, if you have any thoughts?
Prabhuji, it is very good class. So we should not criticize any devotee or Vaishnava, even if he is fallen by Maya of Supreme temporarily.
Yeah, so yes, Prabhuji. So what happens is when you chime, when you criticize, so that's the difference. Adana Swami talks about the difference between a fly and a bee. A fly will constantly go to the stool and it will only look for the stool. So when we start criticizing, our mentality becomes like a fly. But that's where Radhanath Maharaj says that we have to think like a bee. We should look for the good things and not start looking at the negative things. When you start looking at positive things in others, we will not look at the negative things of some, and then we stop criticizing. So we just have to change the orientation of our life and stop thinking about like a fly, which always craves for the stool, but we should think like a bee. And then the criticizing aspect will not happen in our life. Thank you, Prabhu, for chiming in.
Yes. Prabhu, one question. Just I think that it is right now 8:38, but just one question I have. So you've shown the picture that is the Ganga water and Jagannath Prasadam and the dust of Braja and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I heard that three is the that is my misconception maybe. 3 Jagannath Prasadam, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and dust of Braja is the spiritual. Ganga Jal also spiritual, Babu?
Yeah, Ganga Jal is spiritual because Ganga has come from very pure places. It's just that because of the industrialization, it has become bad. But once upon a time, if you think about spiritually or even through material, Ganga, if you look at it, has gone to many places where it is very, very clean. It's just that temporarily if somebody takes care of it, because during puja, in order to really sort of cleanse the prior orientation or dhatu, dosha or whatever, do we kind of purify it? It is so. So there are many places in Ganga, Prabhu. It's very, very clean. So it's just not spiritually, both spiritually and materially, Ganga is clean. We just have to have that orientation in our life and our mind that Ganga is pure, and we and there are people who are putting bottle factories around Ganga because they know the demand of Ganga is so significant. So we have, once we think in those direction, Ganga will be very favorable, and Ganga is very dear to Krishna. So anybody who is very dear to Krishna, we have to um, give
Yes,
due awe and reverence to them.
yes, Prabhu, that's great, Prabhu. That this point is very, very prominent in point, and I think that this is a good. These things I learned from you today, Prabhu. This Ganga Jal also as a spiritual.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Any other comments?
Just one thing, Prabhu. I mean, few days back, I was hearing a lecture from Gauranga Prabhu. So he was just giving an example. So I think with Radhanath Swami Maharaj, they went to, I think, Vrindavan Parikrama or something they have done. So he was saying that Ganga, with Ganga and Yamuna, which is both of them are pure. So if any human being takes bath in Ganga, so on the negative, activities or karma, it gets wiped out with Ganga. But if someone gets, sovereign, take bath in Yamuna, so he said that both negative and positive, everything gets nullified. So lot of, Karmi devotees also went with Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So before they were taking bath, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, I think, said, you know, what is the significance of taking bath in Yamuna? They said, no. So then Radhanath Swami Maharaj said this, if you go to Ganga, you take bath, then your negative goes out. But if you take bath, it is so pure that your balance will become zero. So that's something, I found it was very funny lecture.
Yes, yes, yeah, Maharaj comes up with very nice anecdotes. And Yamuna is when Krishna played with gopis. So we have to keep Yamuna in the right context. Yamuna is Yamuna's different name is Kalindi, and Kalindi Yamuna is very dear to Krishna. So if we have that consciousness, we will always have tremendous amount of respect for Yamuna as well. And people who have gone where Ganga meets Yamuna and Saraswati, and that the tributaries, the three, it's very, very pure at that time. It's even cool, it's transparent, the water is unthinkable. So whenever you have time, when everything dwindles down and you have time, you all should make an attempt to go and see those places where Krishna had exhibited those pastime, and our acharyas have spoken so well about that. It's really fascinating. Thanks for sharing that, Prabhu.
Yamuna is right now clean, Prabhu. I think that it is
Some
all.
places, Prabhu, near Mathura or some other places where there is a lot of industrialization, it may be impure. But from a conscious perspective,
Yes,
Yamuna is always pure. And Yamuna also, when you go beyond the industrialized belt, it's pure. And so many wonderful pastimes have happened. Sanatan Goswami, the businessman, the boat stuck in Yamuna, and so many beautiful things. But there are many activities now they're trying to clean up Yamuna. We should always lend a helping hand. But this cleaning and this is all material. It's temporary. Sometimes there'll be fight, there'll be wars. Things will go down, up, down, up, down. But the Yamuna is it's written, it's imprinted in the scriptures that Yamuna is where Krishna has played, and we have to have that respect for Yamuna. There are different people who are doing industrialization around, throwing stuff into Yamuna, but it's temporary. As more and more people are aware, as more and more people hear Krishna consciousness, they will realize that they cannot deface Yamuna and should look. It's all because of the ignorance around prevailing around. Once they have the right understanding, things will get clearer, bro.
Yes, Prabhu, I totally understand. I totally agree with you. From spiritual perspective, both Jamuna and Ganga is always with our in our Shastra also describe that thing. So always there. Spiritual perspective is always pure and purest. So that is I understood, Prabhu. But in case I'm talking about that, I see that Jamuna's water in Vrindavan, little bit other things there in Vrindavan also. So maybe I did not I have misconception, but spiritual perspective, yes, it is purest. Means Jamuna, both Jamuna and Ganga purest. You are correct.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments?
Just one comment, Prabhuji, on Ashish Jagannath Prabhu's last statement. Vrindavan, Loknath Swami Maharaj has clearly written in the book Brajmandal Parikrama that the covering of the material covering is very thin, Prabhuji. We have to, if you have to see the real Vrindavan, we have to cross that material covering. So outwardly it may appear very dirty or anything, but that's why they ask us to go to Vrindavan not by ourselves, by devotees, Prabhu, with like Maharaj, technically, right? Because they will show us the actual Vrindavan and actual Jamuna and all of that, Prabhuji. And to Pratap Prabhu's point, Prabhuji, it washes away both sins. Means technically, if you see, the Yamuna is a sister of Yamraj, Prabhuji. And I think sister of Yamraj, Prabhuji. So technically that means your negative, and if your negative and positive effects are both gone, then you are Nishkam Karma. You come into that mode of the Nishkam Karma, Prabhuji. So naturally you'll go to Krishna. Only we linger here when we have a positive or a negative, we take different bodies. Just, I don't want to extend the class, Prabhuji, but I wanted
No,
to
that's an excellent point, actually. So, so when you have pious credits, you have to enjoy it so that it becomes zero, so that you have to come down, right? So what Maharaj is saying is in a very, it's like there are Niskam Bhakti yogis. They do not have any liking or do not have any affinity towards getting pious credits, have any interest in liberation, mukti, bhukti. They don't have, their only thing is bhakti. So in that context, what Maharaj said is 200% right, that it basically detaches you from, and it gives you that aspect of things where you're not attached to your pious credits, which is why it's even superior. So in that sense, that was the comment Prabhuji was mentioning, and Gogorang Prabhu must be mentioning.
Nice explanation, Prabhu. Very good class we had today.
Prabhuji, one question not of the topic. You wrote, I didn't read, Prabhuji. I saw the text coming about some book, Prabhuji. What was that? Can you just 2 minutes explain?
Yeah, no, I find this. Oh, you're talking about today's Japathan class? Today's Japathan message?
I don't know where it came. I just saw your message. I did not read it, Prabhuji, so pardon my ignorance.
1 second. I have that book. I'll show you. 1 second. Can you see me and hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so there is this book. The name of the book is From Milwaukee to Mayapur by Stephen Rosen, who is Satya Rajdas. That's the message you're talking about in Japathan, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So this book is getting launched in India and Indian outlets on the 12th, the appearance day of His Holiness Japataka Swami Guru Maharaj. But in US, this book is available in Amazon.com. So this is a biography, not an autobiography. It's written by Satyaraj Das, who is Stephen Rosen, and this book is available in Amazon. Because you'll hear a lot of news that it's getting released, on the 12th in India, this, that. So, but this book has already been released in US. I just wanted to, because in light of the other messages which will come your way, you may get confused. But it's just that this book is available in Amazon in US.
Oh, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yeah,
So that's the message I wanted to say, because now they're getting ready to launch the book in India, in Flipkart and so many other places. But for our local devotees edification, I just wanted to say that this is available in Amazon for whatever. I just saw it, so I thought when that news will come, it will kind of confuse others, because that news is pertinent to India launch of the book, which is on the appearance day of Guru Maharaj. So that's the news, Prabhu, I wanted to share in the Chupachapata.
so it is available. You didn't get because you are his disciple, but you got because of Amazon, Prabhuji?
No,
see
I
that
happen to,
it's available now if you want to buy.
actually, I did not get it from Amazon. I just got it. I just got it because of some mercy from somebody.
Yeah,
But
your piety got you that. Okay. So
but all I'm saying is, Prabhu, it's available in Amazon for public buying in US.
Yes, Prabhuji, it is available. I was just checking in Amazon. It's there.
okay, thanks, Prabhuji. Yeah,
And in India, it will not be available today. It will be available from day after tomorrow. Sorry, on 12th. On
right.
12th, it will be available in India for sale in Indian outlets. So that means we are getting the book earlier than India. That's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments from others?
Author? Just curious, Prabhuji, who is the author?
The author is Satyaraj Das, right? Stephen Rosen. He's also a Prabhupada disciple. Satyaraj Das.
Oh, I don't. I
Stephen
heard.
Rosen, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Stephen.
Okay.
You remember, Prabhu, every Rath Yatra in New York City, he comes. He generally launches 1 or 2 books there. He's a wonderful writer. His name is Satyaraj Das, and his Karmi name is Stephen J. Rosen.
I heard of Satyaraj Das, but never read any book, Prabhuji.
Yeah, there he is.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thanks, Prabhuji. Yeah.
He's a Prabhupada disciple.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay.
Any other thoughts? Yes, Prabhuji.
No, I heard some of the books, Prabhuji, but I never read. Yeah, some of the books.
Yeah, he's a wonderful writer. He has written. He has a website also. He's also featured in Wikipedia. He's a pretty well. He's a very good. He's a very good writer. The name of the book is, the name of the biography written by Satyaraj Das is From Milwaukee to Mayapur.
Probably the greatness is I thought he was a disciple of Maharaj, but without being a god brother, he wrote that book, means that tells his heart also.
And
right?
He goes on to write, when he wrote the book, he took some thoughts from his god brothers also, that if he writes this, how it is going to transpire and so many things. So it's a very well orchestrated, well designed book.
Great.
Okay. Niranjan Prabhu, Trallaka Prabhu, they are relatively quiet, but I hope they are having a wonderful time. Tomorrow is Ram Navami, appearance day of Ramji, big event. There is dance program, cultural dance program, and a nice prasadam, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., 9 p.m. there'll be a lot of activities. So don't miss it. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. Ramji is very merciful, and a lot to learn from Ramji's life. So tomorrow morning, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu is giving a wonderful class. Whenever he comes, he gives wonderful class. Last Sunday we had His Holiness Haldar Swami Maharaj from Odisha logging in, and he gave a just electrifying class last time, talking about Radha Bhav and all that. It was so wonderful. So tomorrow morning, very nice class coming up. Evening we have so many programs. So and there are more events coming up. So please keep your spiritual taste tuned up so that you could relish a lot of these in your future. Okay. So Prajapati Prabhu, when are you going to see you here? Now everything is open. Are you planning to come this summer?
Maybe by end of May or June.
Okay. So we'll see you in person during Rath Yatra. End of May, we would like to welcome you again because we're missing you. And
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
and I hope this 7:30 time is good for all of you. I know some people it may not be good, but I think with everybody staying within the confines of each other with not a lot of social activity, I felt 7:30 is better, and hopefully as time progresses, we'll see how it goes and then take it from there.
Prabhuji, one I wanted to check with you. Since little bit opened up, can we have in temple, Prabhuji, or this is okay? This is the okay format to go online.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, well, 7:30 is okay, Prabhu. 7:30 is okay. Today I missed some. I am listening, Prabhu, but I was offering some food to Lord, so that's why not able to answer. But 7:30 is okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point too. So what Bhakti Ratranga is asking all of us is in person Bhakti Vriksha like we used to have prasadam. Is that preferable, or online is okay? I know Prajapati Prabhu is in India. He will not have a lot of positive thing. Niranjan Prabhu had a small infant. He is in Princeton area. So I know we just opened up, Prabhu, but it's we should think about having in person in some future. But when is that? We just have to sort of take a close look. But still, people are a bit, not very comfortable. They are still having masks. The mask mandate is still on. We really want so there is that innovation in some folks' mind. So Bhakti Ratranga Prabhu is a wonderful question. We should really think to meet in person and have prasadam at the end of the class in person. So it is definitely on the cards, Prabhu, but when that will materialize, we can discuss, Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu. No, I was just asking because association, Prabhu, that is main thing. Prasadam is definitely one of the good things, but association only, Prabhu.
Yeah,
and that will come to temple also, right? At least.
Yes. Associating in person has its own advantages, Prabhu. Definitely.
So one thing, if you start in the future, you will start. If you start in person meeting in temple, that's a very good thing, a very great thing. But simultaneously, please keep open this online also. So whoever not going to join there, they can join through online at least.
Okay, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. Let's end. If there is no other things, can we end now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure.
So let's pray at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas by saying Vancha Kalpataru Vaishnavanda ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Bhagavad Gita ki Jai.